Hello and welcome to Power to the People with me, Graham Price. I hope you had a nice Christmas. I certainly did. I tried to step away from politics a little bit on Christmas Day, but I sat down with my doom scrolling device yesterday and meandered through the intellectually barren lands of Facebook to see what Christmas cack I could find. There were lots of wholesome posts from wholesome people posting pictures of lovely kids being spoilt rotten and all the usual advertising nonsense. But then it appeared, somehow, some way, using some sort of insidious algorithm and the power of populist privilege. Nigel was wishing me happy Christmas with this picture. Jesus Christ, have you seen the state of that? The money he's got and he can't buy a better fake beard. Notice he's gone for the council estate yard in the background look there as well, despite the fact that he lives in a massive mansion in Kent and no doubt pays people to tend his own gardens. Do you think he nipped round to one of his followers' houses for that picture? It's certainly not his house, is it? Unless he keeps a little corner set up looking a bit more common for when he pretends to be a normal person. That baby looks terrified as well, doesn't he? Apparently, that's his granddaughter. I'm more concerned that it's his fucking dinner. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the responses that he got right after this. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to take a quick moment to say that my videos often get thousands more views than I have subscribers. That can only mean that there are people watching who aren't subscribed. That's a difficult thing to deal with. Just have a quick look and make sure you've subscribed and rang the bell. Join the Power to the People family, and whenever you're furious about the right-wing media bias, you can join me for a little bit of straight-talking honesty about the bastards that write the headlines. Thank you. Of course, all of this comes from Nigel's own account, so it's no surprise that his most sycophantic fuckwits have gathered in the bottom half of the internet there. But I have picked out a few gems to share with you. We've got this delight from Chris Cobber George to begin with. Merry Christmas, Sir Nigel. Have a great day and thank you so much for what you're trying to do for our country. I haven't had a holiday for quite a long time and I keep quite a close eye on politics, so I don't miss much. Apparently I missed Nigel being knighted though. I'm guessing this knobhead just thinks that you have to call important people, or what you think are important people, say, and is an actual adult who doesn't understand what a knighthood is. Or maybe he's a small, stupid child. Who knows? Sir Nigel. Just to step up the putrid sycophancy a bit, Jackie had this to say. Merry Christmas, Nigel. Thank you for everything you do and giving us hope that maybe, just maybe, we have a light at the end of the tunnel. Jackie love, we came out of the tunnel in July. If you think the last 14 years has been a long, dark tunnel, then what you're doing by supporting Nigel Farage is jumping off the train the minute it gets into the light, running back into the tunnel and bricking it up with you in it. If you actually look at the politics on a basic and fundamental level that even people who vote Reform can not argue with, you have Nigel's party / company that wants to destroy the NHS, give your hard-earned taxpayers' money to fellow millionaires and lord it over the continued decline of the UK while all the rich people make billions. Or you've got Labour who are trying to build you a better house, actually created the NHS and lifted 4 million children out of poverty last time they were in office. Should be a clear choice, shouldn't it? But no. Jackie wants to brick herself up in the dark and sit there screaming, "Fuck you, lefties, I want another election. Nigel should be king." Daft me. Next up was Zoe Batters, who simply had this to say in a suspiciously short comment. Happy Christmas, Nigel, Prime Minister 2029. Kiss, kiss. To which Mayberry Sims replied, "Absolutely, 100%. And then Kathleen McKenna replied, "I can't wait too." Apparently, Mayberry Sims and Kathleen McKenna didn't have the basic sense to realise that Zoe is clearly a bot and is more likely to be called Andre and be in Moscow than she is to be a nice festive lady in Britain called Zoe. Mayberry Sims added here, "Absolutely, 100%, though she used an emoji for the 100%. Maybe she can't spell percent or 100. And Kathleen apparently doesn't know which version of to use in a sentence, so maybe the less said the better there. You can tell those two weren't bots though, because bots wouldn't write such ludicrous responses. Absolutely, 100%. Go Nigel. The next person who wants to come up and display their idiocy to the general public is Caroline Silvers, and she's definitely not a bot, but she definitely is a fucking idiot, as you can probably see. "Merry Christmas, Nigel. You are much loved in this country. I hope you know that. Won't be long now until you're in number 10. Kiss, kiss." This is what comes from algorithms promoting ideologies. Caroline thinks Farage is popular because he's all over her Facebook page. Every other post on her Facebook page is Reform UK or Nigel. And he's all over Twitter. You know, every time she looks on Twitter, she sees Nigel. She doesn't realise that the more she clicks on those pages, the more of them get promoted to her, obviously. Then she puts the TV on, and if she's lucky, really lucky, the great man Nigel himself will be on GBBs. And if not, then she only has to flick around because he'll probably be on Question Time again, or on Talk TV, or they'll be interviewing him again on the BBC, won't they? Or maybe Sky this time. No wonder she's deluded enough to think he's popular. Caroline Love, listen. Nigel Farage is about as likely to be the next Prime Minister as I am to be the next Pope. And I'm not even a fucking Catholic. You complete dumbass. Let's finish by having a look at a proper fucking cretin, though, eh? A true mouth-breathing, oxygen-stealing, dim-witted dickhead. A man who couldn't pour water from a boot if the instructions were on the heel, thick as a Boxing Day poo and gullible as the most muddled of MAGA morons. I'll give you Ian Parkinson. Go for it, Nigel and team. The UK needs a patriotic government. Urgently. Labour and the Tories prove they hate us and intend to reduce our living standards to those of the third world. Sick of all this vermin invading us. Merry Christmas. There's quite a lot to unpack there, isn't there? Firstly, being a racist prick doesn't make you patriotic, and having a German wife and spending most of your time in America despite recently winning an electoral seat in Clacton certainly doesn't make you patriotic. Let's not delude ourselves that this is about patriotism anymore. This is about Nigel Farage's popularity. And don't say Labour, it's ludicrously childish. It makes you sound like an idiot. You almost certainly voted for Boris Johnson in 2019, and if I was to ask you, you wouldn't be able to give me a single example of a lie that Keir Starmer has actually told. I think we both know that's true, so you've lost the right to comment on anybody's honesty. And you have no idea what living standards in the third world are like, or you would know that the UK will practically have to go through a nuclear war or be completely overwashed by a tidal wave before our standard of living was reduced to anywhere near that of a child in Sudan or a woman in Burundi. You're not living in a third world country because you saw some brown people on the bus and didn't feel like you were allowed to make monkey symbols at them through the window when you got off, Or because your racist mate Dave got 6 months for punching an Indian taxi driver in the face during FARAGE'S riots. And as for vermin, well, that's a word that Suella Braverman famously used to describe asylum seekers, isn't it? But there was somebody else that used that term quite a lot, who was known to be a bit of a nasty chap, although Nigel's quite a fan, apparently. Can't quite remember his name. But at least Ian ended it by saying Merry Christmas anyway. Well, Ian, you, sir, are a dim-witted dunce, an inconsequential imbecile, a truly useless simpleton, a complete and utterly gullible gimboid. But love to the family and Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching if you got this far. So there we have it. What can we say about that compendium of codswallopers and dunderheads? I'm not sure there's much we can say. Unfortunately, they're becoming more and more common, and they will certainly become more common if the Dark Emperor Darth Musk is allowed to give $100 million to Reform UK. The streets will be flooded with pictures of Farage, Kim Jong-un style. Try not to engage with these people. Those that aren't bots are already lost, especially if they follow and comment on Farage's Facebook account. They're probably unsavable, but you aren't going to change their minds by calling them fascist on social media. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't. Do it for a laugh if you want, but just don't expect it to make a difference. These people will only be distracted from licking Nigel when somebody else comes along with a bigger, shinier and more racist balloon on a stick. If it's got a 3-word slogan on it, they'll probably be enthralled forever. Anyway, if you do want to support the channel with a one-off donation, you can do so with the Buy Me a Coffee site. Or you can join my Patreon or become a member in the description box down below, as usual. Now that isn't all I've got to say, obviously. But it is as much of what I've got to say as I'm going to say today. Ta-ra-la. Part 3, take 4. Oh, I can't remember which bit I'm doing now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Absolute dumbass. All I've got to do is count to 4. 7. Now I can't even remember how many sections it is.